And I love how the music like starts to hit when you get to this room before you even go down there. Well, the smart thing to get would be the weighted belt. I guess I'll try it. I'm not used to using it. Yeah, that won't go horribly. Yeah, this part is so epic. Oh, I have the wrong ability on. I'll have my parry. I mean, not a bad ability to have though. forgotten what that attack did. One-shotter, no way. Definitely did not think I would. That's it. That's the platinum get. What a journey. What a journey to get this one. A really fun journey. Challenging, but not disrespectful of our time, like Hollow Knight. I'm sure Silksong DLC will have another thing to say about that, but since Silksong's platinum is just the normal game, whereas Hollow Knight's included God Home, this one ended up being much easier, which is funny because the game certainly isn't easier. But this one still had its own unique challenges that makes it stand out from Hollow Knight. Trophy? Give me my trophy. Give me my trophy. I'm ready. Let me see it. Let me see that shiny platinum. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what they do in a DLC for this. I want to see like a memoriam area times 10, like a big memoriam area. Or something equivalent to like the platforming challenge of Hollow Knight. The... what was it? Path of... something. but given how much better the platforming is in this game, it'd be cool to have something like that. Path of Pain, that's what it is. I want to say Path of Ordeals. I don't know why. That's from something else. In a way, this entire game was Path of Pain, but still. Yeah, it's not nearly as hard, though. Like, not even close. Path of Pain is still insane to this day. And part of it's because Hollow Knight's movement's so much clunkier, but still. Some of the stuff you have to do, like the dash across the screen, cancel it at the right time, and do like multiple pogos, like there's nothing like that in this game. Shout out Seth Goldman. Give me my plat. Boom. There he is. There he is. Farloom's heart. We done did it. What a gamer. Alright, well, let's bring up the trophy list and chat about this one, because I have a lot to say. PS5, Hollow Knight, Silksong. I believe that's how it's spelled on the official PSN page, because it's one word, and it's a colon. This was just my own project. We did do the full thing on stream, even the Hunter's Journal. I was going to do the Hunter's Journal off stream and then chose against it. Okay, so first of all, the difficulty. So, first of all, this game's incredible. I still actually can't believe it even came out. Like the whole development cycle, and just the fact that this game was developed over 7 years and then just dropped, and they just made, I mean, this is like one of the most perfect video games ever in terms of just a group of people worked on this game for 7 years and then released it. No nonsense hype, no, promises that weren't fulfilled, no future plans, no past plans, just they worked on it, they released it. That's it. It's just a testament to how the video game industry used to be and how we all wish the video game industry was today. And the fact that all these companies that have been saying for years can't do that anymore. You got to have all this stuff added. It's just impossible to release games like that anymore. This is just like proof that it can happen. You can just make a good game and release it, and it will get popular and it will be successful. Now, granted, Hollow Knight Silksong is, in a lot of ways, built from the ground, built from Hollow Knight's shell. It's not like a AAA open world multiplayer experience. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into the development of games like that, but it's just cool to I just really respect this game for being just a video game. Just nothing else. It's just a video game. It's just a good video game. But anyways, after so many years of it being a meme, it's just crazy that it's even here and that we beat it and that we platinumed it. So the difficulty. Let me drag this down here. So difficulty is weird on this one. I don't really know where I want to go with this one. And ooh, look at that platinum. It's beautiful. Not really sure where I want to go with the difficulty on this one. You can pretty much ignore most of the trophies because most of them are just necessary for 100% anyways. It's weird to me that there's no trophies for some of the post-game optional challenges. Like there's several bosses that you do not need to fight for 100%, but there's no trophy, which I just find a bit weird. There's also no trophy for like the Seth challenges. I mean, there's just a lot of like post-game stuff that does not have trophies assigned to it. I suppose you do. Yeah, you got to fight them for the journal though. That's a good point. The Seth thing, you don't have to, but the bosses, yeah. So there is that. The most annoying trophy is definitely the journal. It's not hard, it's just tedious. So I guess we talk about that when we get to fun. The two standout difficult trophies are Twisted Child, which is defeat Grandmother Silk while cursed, which was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I did it in a few tries, and you can even see there it has 7% of players earned it. So it really was not too bad. I thought it was going to be way worse. And then this one. So this is the one that I don't know how to rate this trophy, because achieving 100% game completion in 30 hours is not hard. I was able to do it in, I think it was like 22 hours. And I struggled on a couple bosses on my second playthrough. I definitely am not Silksong God. Took me like 9 tries to beat freaking Carmelita on my second attempt. So it's not hard, but the thing about this trophy is, A, you have to beat the game 100% twice. Unless you do it the first time in under 30 hours, which 99% of people aren't going to do. Unless you go into the game knowing that's a thing and try to do it. Most people are going to do everything and then try to do it in under 30 hours. So you have to 100% the game twice, which is a pretty big ask. It took me, I think like 60 hours to 100% the game. It's a big game. It's like, for first of all, for a $20 game, the fact that it took me 60 hours to 100% it is nuts. But, it took me like 60 hours the first time and then 22 hours the second time. That's a big commitment. So there's that. There's the fact that you have to have a very big understanding of the game, where everything is for the most part. Obviously, you can use guides and stuff, but guides are only going to get you so far. If you miss like one thing and you don't know what one thing you missed, you have to go back and check every single spot that thing could be in, and it wastes a lot of time. So it's a lot better to try to get everything from what you remember rather than a guide. I'm sure there's probably some good 100% game guides out there that like takes you through the whole game and gets everything in one swoop. But unless you're following something like that, it's going to be better just to use your memory. And then, of course, no guide can help you against the bosses. If it takes you several hours to beat some of the bosses, you're not going to get this. So it's a cool combination of game knowledge and game skill to get this. The other thing that makes it hard for me to discern how hard this really is, I've never seen a trophy like this. In any platinum I've ever gotten, I've never seen a trophy like this that has such a huge time limit that if you were to fail it, you would be back 30 hours. You know what I mean? Even stuff like Pantheon of Hollow Nest. Yeah, it's like this crazy marathon of like 20 minutes of fights. But at the very most, if you get all the way to the end of the Pantheon and fail, it takes another 20 minutes for another attempt. Something like the speedrun trophy for Shovel Knight. I think it was like 4 or 5 hours or something, or maybe less. if you fail the speed run, you're back a couple hours. But I've never seen a trophy like this where you could get all the way to the end of the game, 100% the game in 31 hours. And now you need to invest another 30 hours into this silver trophy, by the way. No idea why this is silver and not gold. So that's just wild. Like, I've just never seen a trophy like that. I've never seen a trophy that takes so much of an investment that most people, I think, will get on their first attempt. But if you fail it, even by a few minutes, you're playing the game for another 30 hours. So that's just kind of crazy to me. The regular 5-hour speed run was not too bad. But I could see some people maybe struggling with this too, especially if they're not used to running games fast. Other than that, like I said, Twisted Child was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. The other thing that's a bit hard to rate in terms of difficulty with Silksong is just the fact that the game itself is very hard. So that does increase the difficulty of getting the trophies by extension. So, you know, if we... Obviously, it's not going to be anywhere near the difficulty of Hollow Knight. This game is way harder than Hollow Knight, but Hollow Knight included the DLC in its Platinum because the game didn't originally come out for console. So when it came out for console, they included the DLC. So the trophies included the DLC, which meant you had to do the Pantheon, which meant it was one of the hardest Platinums ever. I feel like I'm stuck between an 8 and a 9, so I might give it an 8.5. I want to give it a 9 because of how difficult the game is, but the trophies themselves are not a 9, you know? The trophies themselves, if the game included a Steel Soul trophy, which is another weird thing, the Steam achievements include Steel Soul. This trophy list does not. So that's another thing. If Steel Soul was included, it would probably be a 9.5, 10. But because all you have to do is the speedrun, and the speedrun is super lax on the time it takes, honestly, a lot of the difficulty is just coming from the game itself and 100%ing the game twice. So I think 8.5 is probably good. And I would even hear an argument for 8. You know, I did both the speedrun trophies on my first try. I think many people probably did. The real difficulty is just sticking through the main game and not getting deterred by the really horrible difficulty curve at the start. I'm pretty sure Hollow Knight got a 10. Pretty positive. Nope, 9.5. I gave it a 9.5 because I think I gave... Did I give something else a 10? I know Final Fantasy IX has an 11. I don't think there is a 10. I think Hollow Knight's a 9.5, maybe just so I could reserve 10 for, like, Super Meat Boy, if I ever get it. Super Meat Boy might not even be a 10 anymore, honestly, because I've heard there's some strats people have found to make it easier. So, it might not be a 10 anymore. Hollow Knight might take the 10 spot, but for now it's a 9.5. And Final Fantasy IX will always be an 11. Mostly because it's also a 0 in fun, which makes it even harder. Yeah, no, I definitely hear you on giving it an 8. I kind of feel like it should have an 8. I think when the game first came out, everyone was complaining about how hard it was, but as it's been out, I haven't heard as many people saying stuff like that. I think it was a lot of over-exaggerated casual audience. And like I said, the trophies themselves are not hard. The speedrun trophies are not hard. You just have to commit to them. And doing the journal is not hard. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna take it down to an 8. I don't think we can take it lower than that, just from having to do 100% and beat Lost Lace at the end. alone, I feel like, deserves an 8. Okay, fun. So I think that this is a really unique and cool trophy. Big props for this one. This is a unique thing that, well, there is an ending. There is a special ending for doing this, so I guess there is an in-game reward for this, but I feel like this is a cool trophy to have. Or sorry, not that one. This one. The cursed one. Really, most of the other trophies are just what you do for 100%, so they're a bit lame. The only two standout trophies that have nothing to do with the game's 100% and is just specifically for the trophy list are these two. And these are fun. Speedrunning Hollow Knight is fun. I'm very glad they made speedrun trophies for Hollow Knight. Out of all the games that could have speedrun trophies, Hollow Knight is up there for one of the best. So I'm glad that it has not only one, but two. And this one in particular is so unique, and I've never seen a trophy like it, so big props for this trophy. These two trophies alone, I feel like, give it a very good fun rating. Unfortunately, I don't think I can go too much higher than a 7 or an 8, just because all the rest of the trophies are pretty just normal, just do stuff. Just all this stuff you're going to get at the same time as getting 100%. This is an optional ending that takes not very long to do. This is an optional ending that's kind of cool. And that's it. So, and you know, there was a lot of other things they could have done. They could have done the special things that you get in your house for like the extra race, the Seth challenges. I forget what they're called, but those are like special items that don't give you any percentage, but are just for extra challenge. Why are those not trophies? Steel Soul could have been a trophy. I'm kind of glad it wasn't, but personally, but it could have been one. So yeah, a bit of a lame list, but these two definitely make up for it. And the journal, unfortunately, is kind of lame and boring to get. So I say maybe an 8 because of those great trophies, but then it gets docked down to a 7 because of the journal. That's kind of where I'm at. You didn't want the Seth challenges to be a trophy? Well, then maybe something else. But yeah, there's definitely some optional trophies they could have done. I mean, like, with all the cool equipment and stuff in the game, man, there could have been some really unique trophies. You could have done beat Grandma Silk with only the blank tool. Beat Lost Lace with no tools. Beat a certain boss with a certain tool setup. Beat certain bosses with certain crests. Beat the game with certain crests. You know, like, a lot of cool, unique things they could have done to force you to play the game in different ways that they definitely could not have done in Hollow Knight. In Hollow Knight, you're kind of stuck with what you got. They could have done some, like, charm setups for trophies, but other than that, no, this game has a lot of unique stuff going on, so it would have been cool to implement that stuff into the trophies. And it would have been a really easy thing to do. What if you had to beat, like, one of the earlier, like, maybe like the Beast Fly or something with the Architect's Crest or something, you know, just some, like, fun little thing you could do. I guess the only complaint with that would be there's no way to replay the bosses currently, so it would be, you would have to do it the first time you ran into the boss, or else you'd have to play the whole game over. But you have to play the whole game over anyways for the speedrun stuff. So, I don't know. But there's definitely some cooler stuff they could have done, instead of just, if you get 100%, you now have all the trophies but 2 of them, pretty much. Or all of them but 4, I think. Did it glitch? No. My game did crash like 4 times though. I've heard that it's really only on console that it crashes, but my game crashed like 4 times throughout this, which was a bit annoying, but the game autosaves pretty often, so wasn't the worst thing ever. And our final time was about 83 hours. We'll say, yeah, it's fine. We'll just do 83. And there we go. There is the Silksong plat. Still feels crazy that this game is even out. And it was awesome, man. I really, really loved this game a lot. I was saying before that a lot of times when I speedrun or challenge run a game, it's because I've done everything in the game and I still want to play it. And that happens pretty rarely. Pretty rarely does that happen in a game where I hit the 100%, I hit the platinum trophy, and I'm like, I still want to play this. And Hollow Knight Silksong is one of those games. I'm still loving this game. So I might look into casually speedrunning it maybe. I thought about casually speedrunning it, just doing the speedrun route without any like practice or learning it, and just getting better and better at the bosses, so I just get better and better times. That sounds really fun. Maybe I try Steel Soul, even though it's not a trophy. Maybe I try like a challenge run. I don't know. But this game is still so much fun. I'm still loving playing it. I don't feel like I'm done playing it yet. And I've been playing it for 83 hours and it was $20. That is insane. So, awesome game. Can't recommend it enough. And play Hollow Knight before you play Hollow Knight Silksong, but don't get the plat. Just play Hollow Knight, enjoy it, and then play Silksong. Don't worry about getting that plat. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But this one is. This one's worth getting. I really like the 100% in under 30 hours trophy. I didn't know how I was going to feel about it before doing it, but now that I've done it, I really like it because it shows like a mastery of the game. You really have to know where everything is and do everything right and not mess around and get good at the bosses. But at the same time, it's so lenient that unless you really make a lot of mistakes, you're probably going to get it on your first try. So it feels challenging, yet not super like, oh, you played for 31 hours? Get back on the grind. Like, it's fair, you know. It's fair but challenging. And the 5-hour speedrun trophy was probably harder than the 30-hour one, I would say. So that's cool.